Hello again. A lot of times when I have somebody visiting or talking to another collector, they ask me, Mike, do you live in a cave or something like this? Because I have these old English guns and percussion guns, all kinds of antiquities, and maybe I do live in a cave, but that doesn't mean I don't know what's going on outside the cave. So it might surprise you to know I have these black guns. I mean, I buy them, and a lot of people actually show me what they own, and sort of I can see what's what from that. And it's always hard to comment because you don't want to affect somebody's enthusiasm for these new rifles. But a lot of what is out there is actually quite old. It's just been repackaged. The principles mostly, and even the mechanisms were perfected mostly around 1900, and they just keep getting reinvented and changed. And now this AR platform's interesting to people, the pistol grip and so on. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about. That was just sort of a footnote. Again, if my voice sounds funny, it's I have a flu, but it gives me a chance to make some videos. So this is a Thureon Defense. I bought this. I think somebody else I knew had one. I put this grip on the front. That didn't come with the carbine. And it's American made, good quality, some AR features on here. I won't trouble you with the takedown and operation. I mean, that's well covered, first off in the instruction manual and then on the web. But I thought it's probably maybe meaningful to hear some of my comments. So on the Thureon, this is quite a reliable carbine. It's in 45 ACP. It takes Glock mags, which are very convenient. I do like the operating handle on the left side, which is similar to H&K or some H&K models and other models as well. And within its range, it was fine. I think I had a Trijicon on here, or an aim point. I forget which one. I think it was a Trijicon. And it's a fun carbine to shoot. You know, we all like going out with a 22, just shooting tin cans at a gravel pit or whatever. On the other hand, it's nice to have something a little more powerful for about the same type of practice, because the ranges are minimal. The distances, I should say, are minimal. And with the 45 ACP, even more so. I mean, you can hit at 300 yards, it's true, but the velocity drops off. You can mostly see the bullets when you're out at distance if you have any kind of scope. And I mean, it has the usual features that you'd expect on kind of a black carbine. But this is very well made. I bought it because somebody else said it's fantastic, and I guess in its own way it is fantastic. You can burn up a lot of ammo real quick with these, which I suppose is a nice thing. And then this one's even more sort of interesting. That one has a lot of metal. I took a magnet just before filming, and there is actually some steel in there, the bolt and the trigger, some other pieces. It's hard to tell because the magnet picks up the steel under the aluminum housing, so it's hard to know exactly what's going on in there. But it's a straight blowback, and so is this. So I mean, blowbacks have been around since 18 something, but in these packages it looks like something remarkable and new. The Kel-Tec's, like I said, it's a lot of polymer in here, but I didn't have any problems. It takes Glock mags again. This is 9mm. This is an old generation. And they have newer ones with slightly different features that I can't tell you about because I don't know them. And this thing is interesting. You just move the trigger guard, and then the whole thing, the whole contraption kind of pivots and then locks down here. Then there's a release over here, and then you can pivot it back up. And I didn't bother locking it in place. So you can, I mean, you could easily clean it, and I suppose there are other advantages as well which you can think of. Very handy little thing. And in 9mm, negligible recoil. Same with the Thureon, the 45 ACP. Well, there's not much recoil except in a handgun. And here's how you operate this thing. This this is pulled back here. So that's kind of unique or different, and one has to get used to this idea of this thing being here. But once you shoot it, it's fine. It has some plastic aperture sights, and once again, I mean, it's a collection of parts that have been assembled intelligently and with no doubt computer design. It works quite well. In terms of character and so forth, I'm not sure what to say, but it's a tool, and again, a 9mm, arguably even more fun than the 45 in the Thureon. And I think the Thureon is available in 9mm as well. Very, very handy little carbines. I can see why they're popular. I think they make these with a Picatinny rib now, just because right as it is, I don't know how you would fasten things. And you know, there are people that put flashlights and lasers and red dot sights, all kinds of things on these carbines and on all the ARs that are out there right now. So that I'm assuming that they, on the newer generation, there are all those features, although maybe there's a new forend that has that now. So I don't want to sound too negative on these. They for what they are, they're very good, and I didn't have any jamming. Maybe a couple of little things here and there, but nothing to speak of. And quite affordable, and in a lot of ways practical. I can understand how people like them. So that's about it. I thought I'd throw something up that you might not expect on my channel, some black guns. But I mean, I've shot them all. You know, when you have any kind of training, you shoot most of the military rifles, and I've always gone out of my way to try to keep up with what's happening out there. There are a lot of bolt actions now that are based on the AR platform, and you should have a look at some of those. I'll try to get a hold of them because it's quite interesting. They're advertised as like leading edge, and their appearance is modern, but most of the principles and systems are actually quite old, although made in a modern way. Anyhow, I seem to always manage to talk about things, and I did it again here. But that's really all I can say on these. So thanks for joining me, and please subscribe, and please join me on Patreon. And we'll see you next time.